Hello and welcome to the podcast, everyone. My name is Sumedh Bilgi, and this is my show where we release episodes every alternative Thursdays about topics ranging between health, well being, fitness, spirituality, and seeking a life that we can value and treasure and be happy with. On today's episode, we host Ruzbeh Bharucha, who is one of the most profound spiritual writers of our times. Ruzbeh is somebody that has been around the media circuit for a very, very long time and continues to be contributing via his incredible array of books in the spirituality space. He is undoubtedly one of the most incredible thinkers that I've had a conversation with on this show and beyond as well. And I think you will really benefit from today's conversation. On the chat, we speak about a wide array of topics, including acceptance, living a life of contentment, dealing with the difficult times that we're in, navigating through, the threats, the dangers, the illusions, the attachments, and everything that is out there to take us away from our ultimate goal, which is of merging with the divine. Because this conversation ranges between multiple topics, and I do not want to give any of it away. It is a conversation that you must listen and watch to its entirety, and I guarantee that maybe a percentage of it, at least, will stick with you and stay with you and leave an imprint at a certain point. So I hope you like it. I hope you follow the podcast, and I hope you share this episode with everybody around you. Let's roll the episode. How have you been? It's my pleasure entirely to be hosting you. We've been in touch virtually for a while, and
Yes.
to finally be able to do this is an absolute pleasure. So thank you so much, sir, for being on the podcast.
No, it's my honor to be on the podcast.
How have you been? How's life treating you?
Uh, since a little while, I've not been too well, but
Hmm.
I guess, everyone is going through this new viral that's going about in, Mumbai, Pune, everywhere.
Right.
And like everything, this, earlier a viral would last for 5 days. Now it seems to be lasting for a few weeks.
Yeah. It's been quite the time, hasn't it? Last couple of years, the world's been through so much.
Yes, yes.
What's your reading been of it? The kind of change that we've been through.
See, I written my first book was called The Last Marathon.
Hmm.
Okay. It's a book, Life After Death and Spirit Communication. And I had written it in 1998, 1999. And I'd interviewed Veera Keshwala, who used to channel Avatar Meher Baba. And when COVID struck, I got a lot of people who had sent me a paragraph from that book, which said that Avatar Meher Baba says through Veera Keswala that from the year 2020 to the year 2030, mankind will go through things they've never gone through before.
Mm.
Now, you must understand that book was written nearly 21 years before 2020. So, if you look at it from that angle, maybe it is destined. Maybe this was what was planned much, much before. I wouldn't like to put the blame on any country or anything. I just think that sometimes destiny unfolds in various strange ways. And we are going to see a lot of strife for the next few years. Recession is knocking at our door.
Yeah.
And I think the next few years are going to be a challenge for a lot of people. Plus, I fear there is great civil unrest in our country, a form of communal divide. And I have a feeling sometime down the line, we are going to experience a major communal riot or a major communal.
Unrest.
Yeah. So I think only those who are calm and who are centered
Mm.
are going to be less affected by all this.
Yeah.
These are tough times, and unfortunately, I feel more tough times are coming. Yes.
Which is what I wonder so many times when I, with this decision of coming back to Bombay and, pursuing something. I feel we're always in the pursuit of something, aren't we? Always trying to chase something. And you mentioned about being centered, about how people that are being centered will end up being a lot, better off in the difficulties to come.
Yeah.
Is this, chase after material happiness and things that are outside of us at the core of the unrest that we feel?
Not being content, always seeking, never being satisfied, trying to live up to the expectations and perceptions of people around. I think we create our own hell, and then we look to blame it on others or God or destiny or the government. But I think most of the times, I'm not saying all the times, okay? Most of the times, if we were just calm and centered, giving our best to each moment and then leaving the rest to the Goddess God Guru's wisdom, I think we can go through the most turbulent times calmly. But at this present moment, most of us are like headless chicken. Like, a dog trying to catch its own tail and chase its own tail. And it's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. Of course, one cannot disregard the fact that inflation is really, really moving at a rapid pace.
Yeah.
Salaries are not. Education has become phenomenally expensive.
Yeah.
If you are ill and in the hospital, sometimes when you see the bill, you feel you are better off dead. So it's a two-pronged thing that is happening, but yet only those who are going to be very centered.
That's a key word.
Those are going to be able to keep their heads above water. And of course, the new fad of living off EMIs is a dangerous way of going about life. Yeah.
Sense of immediate gratification, right? We are always chasing this immediate gratification, and I want that latest watch. I want to show off my shoes, my car, my house, and the EMI is the is the quick antidote to that. I'll little payments. At the surface, it doesn't seem like much, but when it piles up,
it adds up. It adds up. A few days back, a father and son had come to meet me. Father had grown up the hard way.
Yeah.
He was born as in a poor family, but son was born in a rich family because the father had made it. And the father was telling me that, my son just bought a 16 lakh rupee watch. And he said, I'm wearing a 11,000 rupee watch, and both the times are the same, but it shows the time. So,
can't fathom it.
Yeah, we are trying to beat our peers, compete with our peers, and you're going to go fucking downhill if you continue like this.
I think the what you mentioned boils down to awareness. comes down to awareness, being aware of what you're doing, where you're putting your energy, um, what are you really investing in. And it feels like we'd rather just continue on this whim that we get again and again, then sit down and face things and be aware about things, be aware about where we're putting our energy, what's coming back for us, what are the implications it has, towards people around us.
Yeah.
We'd rather just not face all of that and just carry on with one whim after the other, one whim after the other. It feels like we're seeing beyond plain sight is something that we've completely forgotten. Whatever is immediately visible to us, hum bas wahi
Yeah.
dekhte hain.
I've seen it in COVID times. I've seen it because a lot of families come for counseling, a lot of families come for help, and I've seen it. I've seen it across the board. Poor, middle class, upper middle class, rich, you name it. They have all got a banging. And when I sit back and try and ask myself, what is that one common factor? And it's always this. Everybody seems to be living beyond their means. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And please, it's not only about middle class, it's about everybody. Everybody.
Yeah.
I have someone who works for me. He takes care of the house and this and that. His salary must be 8,000. That day he comes driving a Maruti.
Mm.
And I thought it was his friends.
Yeah.
And he told me, sir, I bought a new car. I said, are you fucking joking?
Yeah.
Doing? You understand what I'm saying? My brother-in-law has a car and my wife is pressurizing me that I should also have a car. So we've sold our gold and we pulled all our savings and we've taken an EMI on a car. And they've just got a child some 9 months back, 10 months back.
What happens to the child? What happens to the parents?
No, I honestly have no understanding. I can't wrap my head around this. Why would you do something so suicidal?
I mean, I just feel like, I was just thinking about what are the emotions that we face a lot in today's world. And just when I was pondering about it, especially the negative ones, selfishness showed up, attachments showed up, illusions showed up. And I think the third one is rather peculiar and rather important because, I like that we're building upon a story to talk about ideas with regards to, your help. I hope, your help does not take this personally when they see it or listen to it, but it just gives us an important, ground to build upon a conversation.
Yeah.
But illusions is something that I'm rather very, very enamored by, because we have these illusions in front of us of an ideal life, of an ideal image, of an ideal partner, of an ideal society. How dangerous is that, sir?
There are two things which I am very scared of. One is expectations of the world, and second is expectations of yourself.
Yeah.
And the second thing is perceptions.
Yeah.
Okay. If you see, most of the times when people are dying and when a loved one talks to them saying, is there anything you regret? 60 to 70% of people say, yes, I regret trying to live up to expectations and perceptions of people around me. More, not less. I'm really downplaying it. I was reading, somebody is doing research and they said, would you just go through the book? And they've interviewed quite a few people. those who are on their deathbed, those who are very old, and virtually all of them said the same thing, that I wish I had not tried to live up to the expectations and perceptions of the world. The second thing which is common to all is, I wish I had been content with my lot. Okay? Now it's very strange. Here are people who are about to die in a few months' time, a few weeks' time. These are the two regrets that have come out from them. Even in my counseling that I do, a lot of times, I ask those people, if there's one thing you would have avoided, what would it be? And the answer comes very fast. Trying to live up to expectations and perceptions of others, trying to live up to, matching the standard with our neighbors and colleagues and families. These are things that come out very fast. That means obviously it's playing on their minds somewhere. Okay? Yeah. So I believe that if an individual can just take care of these two things, one is stop trying to meet up with expectations and perceptions of others. Trust me, God has failed in making everybody happy. You and I are not going to succeed in that. And second thing is being happy with your lot. I'm not saying being fatalistic. I'm saying you're giving your best, and then you're being happy with your lot. I saw that trait. I saw that trait in my mother. I saw that trait amongst my aunts, and I was growing up in a joint family, cousins staying together. I saw that trait in my maternal grandmother, paternal grandfather. And when I look at them, what is that one thing that they had in common? They were happy with their lot. They weren't seeking whole time something. They weren't wishing, oh, I wish this had happened. No, they didn't do all that. And we've come from a very humble family, nothing fancy. And trust me, those are the best days of my life because I lived among satisfied, content people. And I think that's missing, Sumedh. I think that's going out. That's going out. And we are not inculcating it in our children. We are pushing our children. You got to get better marks, so you get a better job so that you get better money and you're on a high post. We are pushing our children. We are not telling them, bacha, you have go for your calling, be happy, give your best, enjoy. No, it's all about the position. It's all about the money and the package. So we are training our children from a very small age that that's what your focus should be. We are not talking about health is wealth, relationships are wealth, your connect with your goddess, God, Guru is your wealth. No, we are saying your position in life and your bank balance is your wealth. And then what do you expect these children when they grow up? What do you expect them to do?
The first thing that you spoke about is death, and how people do, at the time of their death, somehow see things a little more clearly, in hindsight, and the role of and the importance to the body being dropped, given in the spiritual lens, in texts and gurus, spiritual beings that have walked this earth. They've always given death a very important role. So the way we view our mortality, is that something that you think has changed, where we view it differently now to where we used to view it differently earlier?
You see, in ancient times. Why ancient times? I mean, I've seen it in my
Yeah,
grandparents.
yeah.
Okay. They were very clear about 2, 3 things. They were clear that they are not the body. They were very clear.
Mm.
They were clear that your karma is going to decide where you land.
Yeah.
And third, they were clear that as you sow, thus you shall reap. We have forgotten these simple truths. Sumedh, remember one thing. Everyone says we come with nothing, we go back with nothing, which I don't believe in. We come with our karma and we go back with our karma.
Mm.
We don't come empty-handed. We come with our karma and we go back with our karma, which is defined in a astrological chart.
Yeah.
There's a section of, I think, Tibetan or Buddhist monks who have to, every day in the morning when they wake up, they have to meditate on their death. So they have to lie down, imagine themselves dying, and their families gathered around, and the death ceremony every day. Every day. That is the first meditation that they are supposed to do.
Mm.
Why? My understanding, I may be wrong, but my understanding is reminding yourself that this body is a shell, it will drop anytime. Number 2, your name, your fame, your wealth, your position, your power is useless. You're not going to take any of that with you. And third very important thing, Sumedh, how do you want to spend the day which could be the last day of your life? We've forgotten all that. For some reason, look around you, for some reason, we have we believe that we can take all this crap with us. Fame, ego, wealth, money, status, position. But the wise know that no, the only thing we can take is our good thoughts, good words, good deeds, and the ramifications or the fruits of those good thoughts, good words, good deeds. I believe we gravitate after the physical body dies to what we are giving energy to.
Mm.
That is why all the ancient masters say during the last moments of your about to pass over, think of your goddess god guru.
Yeah.
You gravitate towards your goddess god guru.
Yeah.
I don't remember. I have witnessed and I have been part of many people passing over in these 25 years of channeling.
Mm.
My last conversations with those who are about to die, I don't ever remember one single person talking about name, fame, bank balance, glory, position. No. I see fear in their eyes. I see regret in their eyes. You know, I know they want to tell me, I wish I had time to turn things around. I would have lived a more calm, centered, fruitful life. So that's why we don't say death, because the body dies, the body dematerializes, the spirit within us keeps moving, and that's a fact. But I think we've forgotten all that. We've forgotten all that.
because it's not immediately visible, right? It's not visible, it's not tangible. We can't hold it, touch it, feel it.
Yeah.
Which is why also worshipping, being in prayer, being
Yes.
devoted to God is something that I don't see a lot of people being devoted. It's more about, I will pray, I will do this havan, it'll get me something.
Yeah. It,
I will do this and it'll get me something, because the presence is not tangible to the immediate eye, which ties in with what we spoke about earlier, which is seeing beyond plain sight, being aware. That's missing.
Sumedh, I'm 55 now. Okay.
Mm.
If you ask me, what have I learned? And I've learned this very recently, unfortunately, very recently, but fortunate that I learned it.
Yeah.
It's not about your prayers. It's about how much you love the one you're praying to.
Beautiful.
It's not about your puja paths and your namaz and whatever. It's about, do you love who you're praying to? Are you in a state of gratitude? What are you seeking? Are you seeking their love and their blessings, or are you seeking X, Y, Z? Because then that is not prayer, that's a business deal you're trying to make.
Yeah.
Okay?
Yeah.
I've told this many times that I would hate it if my daughter were to come and tell me 108 times fast, I love you, I love you, I love you. I would rather she came once, hugged me and said, I love you, Dad.
With
Right?
full heart. Yeah.
Yes. I am
Yeah.
sure goddess God gurus also want this only.
Yeah.
So, you know, I've talked to a lot of people as to why do they pray.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think I've got two answers from most of the people. One is because we are seeking something.
Hmm.
And one is we are fearful that what we have might go away.
Yeah.
And I think that's a very sad relationship to have with your goddess God Guru.
So my mind went straight to Shirdi for some reason. And
Yeah.
I've noticed this, that a lot of people, when they go to Baba, and obviously, I mean, I'm glad that we are finally here at this point in the podcast where we can talk about Baba, because my
Yeah.
y- I obviously learned a lot about you when through a Baba network.
Yeah.
And I've seen a lot of people go to Shirdi, drive to Shirdi all the way and donate money there. Uh, and it's always about, okay, Baba, I've come all the way. Now give me the promotion, uh, give me the this, give me the that.
Yeah.
And it's actually sad, like I never, like I feel a sense of sadness when I mean, I don't know if you felt this as well, but I felt this when I've been to Shirdi. I feel very, very sad about it, because the way, people view and approach, a relationship with Baba, or it could be anybody and any God, Guru, Goddess, the way you say it. But, just the way they approach it. And, in the chase of wanting something from Baba, they are missing out on the most beautiful relationship that you could have with anybody.
You must understand one thing, Sumedh. Even when Baba was in his physical body, his last 2-3 years, he was quite disillusioned. Okay.
Mm.
He said, people are coming for rags when I want them to give the khazana.
Yeah.
I've asked this question a number of times to myself and to my people is, let's say if Sai Baba of Shirdi somehow manages to make an announcement
Mm.
that my children, I will always love you, but from henceforth, I will not be able to do anything for you. That department, that portfolio has gone out of my hands.
How many would still love him?
I want to know how many people would go to Shirdi after that.
Mm.
I've asked myself many times this question about my own self, my own love.
Same. Yeah.
And I would like to believe that I only love him.
Mm.
I would like to believe that my destiny I have to go through. And Baba might not be able to help me where my destiny is concerned, but I would just like him to be holding my hand when I'm going through that destiny.
Yeah.
We have made everything into a business deal.
Yeah.
Our goddess god guru has become the CEO of a company. That's it.
You go to them for give me a raise, give me a holiday.
Yeah. No, we are just seeking, we are just seeking, we are just seeking, we are just seeking. How many times do we honestly, with all our love, say, thanks so much, Baba, for everything? You know, you've given me everything. How many times do we say it?
Not often, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah. Some
You
never,
know,
perhaps.
yeah, Dada Vaswani, when I was interviewing Dada Vaswani, he told me something very, very
Yeah.
sweet. He told me, Ruzbeh, Shukar is the most powerful prayer. Shukar.
Yeah. Yeah.
How many of us really, really mean it?
Could you tell us the story? I've heard you say this story of him when he was ill, and I've heard this. I've heard you say this. Tell this story about when he was traveling. I think in an ambulance or in a car, and the road was bumpy.
Yeah, when,
Could you tell us that story? Yeah.
yeah, I think Dada was, the last 7 to 10 years, he was, on bed or in a wheelchair. Though the physiotherapist would come and he would go through a lot of pain, but so when he fell down in America, he was playing, I think, table tennis, and a shawl came. The shawl came in his feet, and he fell down, and he broke his bone. The ambulance which came to take him to the hospital, or this hotel or resort, must have been in the back of the Beyond. And the road was exceedingly bumpy. Now you can imagine, he was around early 90s. And he's broken his hip, I think. Okay. And the bus is jerking on the road, and it's, I think, nighttime, so visibility is not too good, and there are bumps and everything. And all through the journey, whenever he went through excruciating pain, he would whisper, Shukar. I mean, these were giants. Yeah.
I think I can finally use the S word, spirituality, because like I feel spirituality, through this is something that you had said, I think, or had read somewhere, is essentially recognizing the spirit within us, which is a reflection of the divine.
See, in ancient times, that was the meaning of spirituality. When you operated from the spirit within you, you were called spiritual. It had nothing to do with prayers and charity and rituals and pilgrimages.
Yeah.
When you operated from the spirit within you, you were spiritual. Our word, namaste, the divine within me bows down to the divine within you. I mean, how more classy can you get?
Yeah. True.
Okay. So it's all about connecting to the divinity within each one of us and operating from that state of the divine spark in each of us. I think that is spirituality. It's not about being knowledgeable, being erudite, knowing all the prayers and reading all the books and all. That is great. That's Gyan, which is great.
Yeah.
Gyan will make you reach the doorstep of heaven. Only true childlike love will make you enter it. So, I don't get very impressed by people who know everything. Earlier I would. As I've grown older, I only want to see, are they operating from the divine spark? Are they operating from love? That is what I got in the Radha Vaswani. That is what I got in Murari Bapu. That is what I got in Swamiji Nayak. You know, they operate, like Murari Bapu, I met him. You can feel the love. Swami, you know, Dada Vaswani, you could just feel the love, that divine love. You just felt comforted. You felt, and none of these three great divine souls ever tried to show off or tried to, impress you with the gyan. So, the first book which really blew my mind off was Autobiography of Yogi. I read it when I was 17. My uncle, Jimmy Gazdar, had introduced me to it. And I remember one line from that book. I've read the book many times in my life, but that one line really, really made a great, great impact on me. When Sri Paramahansa Yogananda said, God is simple, everything else is complex. And
you who complicate it.
I feel unfortunately we are complicating spirituality also.
What is the role of religion then in spirituality?
Religion is like a roadmap. Okay? They try to teach you a moral code of conduct. They try to guide you into certain activities, or certain prayers, or certain breathing that will open this heart chakra of ours where we can operate from divine love. Spirituality is, in my vocabulary, being a decent, kind, compassionate human being, operating with the knowledge that nothing is mine, everything is yours, everything has come from you, I too have come from you, and I want to reach back home. Spirituality is the fragrance that comes out from a musk deer. The deer, all its life, is trying to find the scent which comes out. It is within. We are all like those musk deers. And I think spirituality, the true essence of spirituality is to spread the divine spark which is within you, which has come from the divine flame, which I would like to believe Zoroastrians would call Aura Mazda, and Muslims would call Allah, and Hindus would call Adi Shakti.
Yeah.
Christians would call God. But I think it's going back home by spreading light. Spirituality is about oneness, because the divine within me bows down to the divine within you, right? It's oneness.
This I've been observing this recent wave of conversation around spirituality, and like we mentioned earlier as well in our chat, the words being thrown around in various different ways, and a lot of people, like you've mentioned, obsessed with technique. This obsession with, people want to know about things like Kundalini, and they want to know about things that, astral projections and going out of your body and these experiences and those projections. What do you think about, our obsession with those things?
See, listen to me. So, sometime back, an elderly lady had come to meet me. She must have spent, I think, close to around 50 years in meditation. And so I asked her that, how do you meditate? And she told me, you got to sit down, lotus position. And then you take in a breath and you count, and then you retain the breath, and then you exhale the breath and you count, and then you again are without breath, you count, and then you take this to your Muladhara chakra and then get it to your Sahasrara chakra. So I said, damn good. I said, but when do you start your meditation? And she said, that's my meditation. I said, according to you, what is meditation? And she said, becoming one with my master. I said, but you are whole time one with your counting. Where are you one with your master in this?
Yeah.
I'll tell you what. We have got caught up with all the frills. All the frills. We have let go of the true essence. Somebody told me, Ruzbeh, why don't you hold a 5-day retreat on meditation? And I said, I'll be able to talk about meditation for 15 minutes. What the fuck am I going to do for the remaining so many days?
Yeah.
Number one, Kundalini meditation can be done only in front of your master with guidance from a spiritual guru. Because the Kundalini Shakti is more powerful than all the nuclear energy in the world. And if you don't know what you're doing, or if you're not being guided properly, you could, face very dire consequences.
Yeah.
And what is about Kundalini Shakti? So what if all your chakras are opened? How does that make you a better human being? How does that make you love your goddess, God, Guru more? There is a difference, Sumedh, between Shuddhi and Siddhi. We are all trying to move towards Siddhi, where Shuddhi has been completely, pushed aside. What do
What's the
you think?
difference? What's the difference? Yeah.
Shuddhi is purity. Siddhi is power. Shuddhi is purity.
Yeah.
A decent human being.
We're not bothered about that.
Others, compassionate, giving, loving, spreading the light. That's Shuddhi. Siddhi is about chakras and kundalini and astral travel and miracles and all the other stuff. But remember one thing, every true master said Siddhi is the greatest obstacle on the path of spirituality.
Wow. Wow.
Okay, yeah. All the great masters have said these Siddhis are an obstacle on the path of spirituality. But look at our work. Look at us. We are all gravitating. Look at the... Anyway, to each his own.
Yeah. It's all, yeah, you couldn't have said it better. I mean, the Siddhi versus Shuddhi, and I see a lot of content on YouTube on this, where everybody, in the name of spirituality, these podcasts only talk about all these things that will enhance your power so you can become something. This is all a process of just one-upping each other and trying to increase your your position and try to become superhuman. And it's not really about love.
It's not about love.
One of the most important things that you've mentioned on this conversation is karma, and what you come with and what you leave with. And that, I think, is such an important, it feels like, I mean, I'm here as a student, I'm here to learn. It just comes across as probably one of the most important variables in your journey in the physical plane. So if you could introduce people to the concept of karma, because there is so much misconception about it. People have thrown around that word as well everywhere. What is karma, and what do people need to know about it, and how can you be on the right side of things?
See, I like to believe one thing. The creator, okay, who is our mother and father, is not unjust, right? Fair, not partial. If you remove karma from the equation, then you get a very partial God. I would not like to believe in God if karma was not in that equation. Oh, wow. I refuse to believe my God can be partial.
Yeah.
I would rather not believe in God. Okay?
Yeah.
So for me, karma is the foundation for my belief in the existence of God. Right?
Yeah.
When we, as tiny sparks of consciousness, leave the great flame, who I would like to call Adi Shakti Param Kali, okay? We have no karma. It is all free will. Okay, Sumedh?
Yeah.
It is all free will. But as we start going through our journey, our wants, our needs, our ego, everything starts cropping up. And that is when we start doing things which are right and wrong, good and bad. Okay? So from complete free will, now slowly the consequences of the use of your free will has started, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then many times the consequences overcome the free will. And you will see people who are completely governed by what we would call circumstances or plans or whatever you want to call it. Karma is nothing but the fruits and ramifications of our thoughts, words, and deeds. It's like going to a mall and using the credit card left, right, and center. And at the end of the month, the bill is going to come. Then you say, what the fuck? This mall is exceedingly horrible. You know, have a personal vendetta against me. But that bill is going to come.
Yeah.
And sometimes you get those free points, free things, everything, you know, mileage where you get a free flight because you've flown.
Yeah.
You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So karma is nothing but our own higher self making us experience the good and the bad of what we have let out in the universe. Goddess, God, Guru have got no role in this whole thing. Our karma is stored, they say, the sages say, our karma is stored in our aura.
Yeah.
And there are times, particular time logged in where it activates. So some people are going through a beautiful period, 5 years, 10 years, 15 years, 20 years, great. And then suddenly shit hits the fan.
Yeah.
So karma is very simple. As you sow, you reap. That's why I told you, we don't come empty-handed, Sumedh. We come with our karma and we go with our karma.
What is it that people need to be aware and cognizant about?
Each moment.
Each moment.
Each moment.
Wow.
Trust me, you know, Avatar Meher Baba has said, God is all merciful, but the path to God is merciless.
Wow. Yeah.
One of the main foundations on that path is karma. Merciless. Doesn't leave anyone. Didn't leave Sri Ram.
Yeah.
You understand?
Yeah.
So what are we?
Yeah. You have to go through it no matter what, right? This reminds me of the story that you mentioned again on another discourse about Sai Baba's devotee who died of a fire, and she was very dear to him. And you say, Sai Baba was in the body then, and everybody said, Baba, why couldn't you just save her?
Yeah.
And he said, no, it was, like I took all her karma away in a few minutes.
Yes. Radha Krishna Ai.
Radha Krishna Ai. Yeah.
All the customs that you see in Shirdi, she has initiated. All that you see in Shirdi now, she has initiated. She was less than 100 meters away from Baba. And she burnt herself to death.
Yeah.
And when people ask Baba, and it's not written in many books, it's not written in Satcharitra, it's not.
It's not, yeah.
Because we want to project our Guru as a miracle machine.
Yeah. Yeah.
So when they asked Baba, Baba said that because of a karma and a tongue,
Mm.
he would have had to come 5 to 7 times and suffer. Baba said, I finished it off in a few minutes. So
Extraordinary.
it
Yeah.
is it is impossible to understand the working of the Guru, please.
Yeah.
It is impossible to understand the working of the Guru. A true Guru is only interested in cleansing you
Yeah.
so that you can move on to the path of merger with Adi Shakti, Paramkali. That is the only real calling of the Guru, to get you out of darkness into light.
I think a great way for us to wrap this conversation up is to talk about surrender, and it ties up with so many things. You spoke about um, you know desires, illusions, the number of things that we've spoken about today, attachments, the f- in- the whole thing about people knowing things and pretending to know things
Yeah.
when we really truly don't know anything. I think it all boils down to surrender, to absolute complete surrender. So before we wrap up, would you like to tell us a little bit about the concept of surrender, and if you have anything else to tell
Surrender.
our young audience, what would you like to leave us with?
So we have karma, that is non-negotiable.
Mm.
We have the wisdom of the master, which is unquestionable. I think the only true prayer that we can pray, which makes sense, keeping in mind non-negotiable karma, okay, is that Baba, give me the strength and wisdom to go through whatever is in my lot,
Mm.
calmly, gracefully, with a lot of humor, and fearlessly. Because I have faith in your wisdom that you know what is best. Okay? So when you talk about surrender, I find surrender a fancy word.
Yeah. Mm.
True acceptance, joyous acceptance of our goddess God, Guru's wisdom, that she or he knows what's best for me and my lot, is the way forward. It's damn difficult. It's not easy.
Yeah.
But if you're asking me, what is the greatest way of showing true love to your goddess, God Guru? It is with this attitude that I have given my best, now I leave the rest to your wisdom. Jo karna hai, aap kar lo.
Yeah. Beautiful. So I think we could end up speaking forever, but I know you're pressed on time and you have a lot of things to do. But as you mentioned very beautifully, being aware of every moment is what we need to do. And I think I have tried my best to be aware and to be thankful um, of every moment that I've spent with you on this show, in this conversation. I'm very grateful to have come across you thanks to the internet, but I think there is a higher power beyond the internet that was responsible, and that is responsible for all our interactions in the world. And I'd like to believe that our conversation was also divinely guided today.
I'm
So
sure.
I'd like to thank you for your time. And I hope you had a good time being on the
Okay.
podcast.
It's always divine to spend time, one seeker with another seeker. That's it. Okay, Sumedh.
That's it.
So
That's it.
I'm honored that you had me on your show. And I wish you and all the viewers all the happiness, all the contentment, and all the protection. May Baba Sai be with us all. Jai Baba.